Nidus Breachcast, the world's first identity management app made exclusively for identity experts and product owners, is available in the iOS App Store now.
Nidus Anarchy series, we are at day 2 of Identity Week here in DC. I'm here with Ken Buckler, Enterprise Management Associates, who's an analyst and a longtime friend of Ted Balfour, I believe, or CEO?
No, it's the first time I've met Ted.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you guys go way back.
No.
Which other conventions have you been to? Have you been to previous Identity Weeks,
So this is my first Identity Week.
Okay.
Traditionally, I've actually been to like Black Hat, RSA conference. Yeah, imagine that, Black Hat, imagine that. RSA conference. I'm going to Tech at the Gap in Western Maryland here in a couple months. And also I'm going to be going to, I forget the name of it now. InfoSec Week.
Okay.
Or InfoSec World. Down in Orlando.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah.
What do you think so far these 2 days? One thing I noted for the viewers, and I've been saying actually to people at the company, is last year that I was here, a lot of biometrics, still a lot of biometrics. What do you think about what you've seen so far?
Yeah, it's really interesting when I look at this conference versus other conferences. There's a stronger focus on the biometrics here, and that kind of makes sense because this is an identity-focused conference. I was encouraged that there's also a lot of security vendors here as well, because that's something we absolutely need to start seeing more of, is a more of a merger between the security industry and the identity industry, because at the heart of it, identity really is the heart of security, because if you don't have that identity properly secured, the rest of those security measures aren't going to matter.
So tell people about your role as an analyst and your company, and even your history would be great.
So I was actually, I was a hands-on cybersecurity practitioner for over 15 years in the federal sector. Before transitioning over to becoming an industry analyst, I was actually focusing a lot on big security data analytics and software development. I actually had a small software development team working under me at my last role, and we were monitoring like 750,000 endpoints, and then having to actually create reports that would end up sometimes even in Congress members' hands. So, no pressure. But no, and then I decided, I really want to make a bigger impact in the industry. And I found this analyst role with EMA. And it's been so fantastic because, I come from a cybersecurity background. I only recently, in the past couple of months, took over the identity space as well. And it's really been a great merger of the two, because now I can focus on not just the security measures, but also the actual identity security. And it's been so great speaking with companies like yours and learning about their solutions and learning about how all the pieces of the puzzle can fit together properly, and then being able to build reports so that organizations can figure out what pieces work best for their organization.
So how far back do you go in this industry?
Well, I don't want to date myself too much, but I will put it this way. I have actually worked on some computers that didn't even have a GUI. So, fortunately, I've been told those computers have been shut down since then. But yeah, I've worked on some very old technology, and I've worked on some very new technology.
And one of the reasons I ask is because I've been with Nidus now for somewhere around a year and a half.
Okay.
And just in that year and a half, the innovations we've seen in AI, the innovations we've seen in security, just the popularity now of passkeys, which was not really big a year and a half ago. It's grown so quickly. It's evolving so quickly. I just wanted to hear your take on that.
I'm very encouraged by seeing not just the rapid progression, but the more secure progression. One of the initial challenges we had in the cybersecurity industry back when I started was, stuff like, hey, this computer doesn't even support multi-factor authentication, so we're going to start requiring 100-character passwords. Now, you try explaining to a user they have to start entering 100 characters. That's terrible.
I'm very happy with that.
All right. nowadays, users hate even just entering in 8 characters or 16 characters. So the migration towards passkeys and the migration towards multi-factor biometric based, especially when it makes it easier for the user to get in, we're seeing a lot better adoption of the newer technologies, not because it's more secure, even though it is more secure. The being more secure is more of a byproduct. The fact that it's easier for a user to log in, that's actually what's more driving the adoption.
I think it's probably hard to tell users, just the average layman, that things are more secure now than they were prior, because as you see, and as I see, because I write it for the website at nidus.com, every day there's a new humongous data breach.
Yeah.
And people are saying we have all this technology and things are being breached more than ever before.
You know, I always tell everybody, assume at some point you're going to be breached.
We all have
And
with
plan
the Social
accordingly.
Security breach.
Well, and you know, I was a federal contractor. I was part of the huge federal contractor breach over 10 years ago. But it goes beyond just protecting yourself from the breach, but protecting the blast radius inside of your company. And that's actually one of the important things about when it comes to identity and identity management and identity security, is you protect that blast radius. There's no reason somebody in accounting should be able to log into a computer in human resources, or vice versa.
Sure.
And by restricting that, by properly implementing basically, I don't want to say zero trust, but principle of least privilege when it comes to access control on a network, that's where it really helps to limit that access, because that makes the difference between a department getting hit by ransomware or an entire company getting hit by ransomware.
Absolutely. So where can people learn more about you, what you're up to, your company, any of that?
So you can learn more about us, enterprisemanagement.com. We also have a podcast. It's called the Cybersecurity Awesomeness Podcast.
Okay. Is it up everywhere?
It's on most of them, but cybersecurity.awesomeness.com.
Video or just audio?
Just audio.
Okay.
Just audio. Yeah. So no, we talk about some really interesting things from identity security, software development security. Our most recent podcast, we actually talked about election security.
Wow.
So big, different range of topics on it. Really interesting stuff. We try to keep it to about 15 minutes per podcast. Nice short weekly podcast to listen to and learn more about the cybersecurity industry.
So probably about this length. That's probably what we're doing,
Yeah,
just about.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
really appreciate you giving us your take on things as a veteran of the industry. And as always, guys, wherever you're listening, watching, subscribe. We're on all social media platforms at Nidus IAM. Unfortunately, Adam's not here today, so I'm taking Adam's place, but giving you guys some great interviews here at Identity Week.
Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on in this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.